Welcome. Thanks for clicking on the video. Joe here for Dead Cat Media, and this is a Kujira video. Kujira is a Cosmos chain, and they might have the most useful and most unique array of applications anywhere in the ecosystem. These apps are not only made for end users like me, but builders as well, and that's what I will highlight throughout this video. So the year is 2024, and crypto is mostly about tokens and not so much about actual applications, especially within proof of stake. It seems the only thing you could really do is stake your tokens or swap between tokens that don't need to exist in the first place. And DeFi, the culture surrounding DeFi right now is more about gambling or more about getting away with scams than it is about creating this modernized, open, fair financial system. But Kujira is doing something much different, as we'll see. They're aiming for sustainable tokenomics, responsible investing, user-friendly applications. And yes, you can launch tokens here. Sure, they have a community that likes really ugly NFTs, but Kujira as an application hub, an application platform, is trying to achieve this flywheel that revolves around the Kuji token and also the USK stablecoin. We're going to look specifically at Fuzion today. Fuzion is a very convenient suite of applications built on Kujira, and we're going to get a look at their offerings. I'll do an overview, and then at the end, I will talk a bit about their Fuzion token and explain why I actually bought some myself this past week. If you click this video, chances are you like information, you like education, you're doing your own research, which is great because that's what this channel is all about. So please subscribe. If you don't like this video, you're probably part of the Cosmos cartel. But if you don't want to be part of the Cosmos cartel, give it a like so that I know we're cool, and we'll get to the video. We'll start on the Fuzion dashboard, and I'll link this down below. You can go check it out yourself. Also, if you want to comment, ask questions, I reply to all my comments. So down below, you can do that as well. And the first thing you notice when you go to this fancy, handy dashboard is that it's got all the token information right here. The price, the FDV, the supply, right? We got all this nice user-friendly data, which is great. We'll get into staking a little bit later in the video. But really, I want to look at their apps, right? So their apps are here. Oop, I have this blown up a little too much. And we'll go through all their apps that are user-facing, but also apps that are geared towards teams that are looking to raise money throughout their development. And then we'll get into the token. First up is Plasma, and this is a peer-to-peer OTC marketplace, and it's safe, right? It's a lot safer than doing swaps in Discord, like a lot of people still do. But you could trade any token for any other token. It's the price that you choose, and this does not impact the market price because it's not run through an AMM. And you could see here, these are the swap conditions. It's USK, Axelar. You got whatever that token is. I'm not going to say it on my channel, but you know what it is. And then NAMI. So people set up these offerings, and you could set up any swap conditions that you want, right? You could put 1 Bitcoin for 1 ETH, let's say. People that are accepting these offers need to be pretty careful because you might be getting a way worse rate than the market price. But on the flip side of that is some people might give you way better rate for whatever reason, probably because they make a mistake. But I like this. I hope that one day an application like this gets actually integrated to project treasuries or community pools so that whales can come in and out of ecosystems, in and out of smaller projects without actually affecting the market price, right? So something like this is super useful. You go around the AMM and, people can just set up these deals, hang them out there so people like me can go kind of shopping and see if there is a deal to be had and then execute this through Plasma. So this is really cool. Here is the infamous Fuzion Dustbuster, and this is super useful because a lot of these different yields on Kujira are paid in multiple tokens, and a lot of times you're getting dust, right? And you don't want to go through the trouble of manually swapping, a penny of this and 2 pennies of that and 25 cents of this into the token of your choice. This is going to do it through this Dustbuster app, and it's yield claiming from all across Kujira, including the AMM bow, right? The LP rewards, staking yields. You swap it all into a single token, and it can actually even be automated. Fuzion also has a peer-to-peer options trading platform. So yeah, pretty sweet UI. You have your calls, you have your puts here. Nice little marketplace for kind of like the DeFi power users, even like the TradFi people that want to apply what they know from traditional finance over here in DeFi. So yeah, Fuzion Options is another app. Here's one called Flows, and I find this one quite interesting because it can be used for like paying salaries, right? Free version of like a salary system can also be used for airdrops, right? It says move tokens from one wallet to another with total control over the speed and duration of the transition. So you could pay um, an employee, let's say, or a community member, reward a community member block by block, day by day, week by week. You could let it drip out there, microtransactions. So all this is on chain, it's traceable, perfect for salaries, subscription services. That's another great utility for this. And e-commerce rentals, lots of different ways that these flows can be used. Let's take a look at what it actually looks like. And yeah, it looks like people are using this, man. It's really, I could create a flow here, read the guidelines. I'm live on camera. I'm not going to stop and let you watch me read, but let's pretend I actually know what I'm doing. I would put the destination address here. Let's say I want to pay one of my employees that I don't have, right? I could put their Kuji address here. I could choose any of these and the token quantity, let's say 100, and then I set up a schedule down here. Really, really, really useful. I would imagine they're going to eventually have USK in here. Atom, I would like to see some um, bridge or wrapped ETH, Bitcoin, and all that, of course. Even some other options for stable coins. But I feel like this is so useful, and you don't see such a simplified version of this elsewhere in Cosmos. There are 3 applications here specifically designed for teams to be able to fundraise all throughout their development. And those apps are Bonds, Ignition, and Pilot, which I think a lot of people are familiar with. And we're going to go through each one. So the key here for Fuzion that these are permissionless. Anybody can come along and use this. And this is a tool to basically run angel rounds, right? So you're a new project. The angel rounds allow you to get funds to give you some runway just to launch your projects, begin development, right? And yeah, it says right here, welcome to the launch zone. This is where capital and ideas connect, right? So an on-chain transparent place for teams to actually raise funds. And I think that I didn't even hear about this until I started talking to the Fuzion team, didn't know this existed, but this is another great tool for teams that are looking to build on Kujira, do their fundraising, with the actual Kuji and Cosmos communities. And here we've got Pilot. Pilot is when you're ready to sell funds to the public, right? So this is a really cool way to do a token launch with the public. You've been building for a while, you're ready to drop that token, and again, permissionless. You set some parameters, and basically um, you sell it. There's a period of time for people to bid on the tokens that you want to sell. Let's say I want to sell 1 million tokens, and I think my tokens are going to be worth $1 each. I set my kind of my starting price, and then people can come in and bid for those tokens at different increments below $1. So like $1 is the most that you can bid. No one's going to bid the full amount. They're going to try to get a deal most likely, right? So you could bid 96 cents, 92 cents, all the way down to 4 cents. I believe it's 4 cents. And this kind of puts the onus on the team to build community and a product before they try and sell this token. Otherwise, whatever price you expect to get or you want to get for your token, the community is actually going to decide the price. So what you want is you want more people that want tokens than you have actual tokens to offer, so that you're not offering it or you're not selling it well below the offering price, and making it a bit competitive for those bidding on your token. Here are the token launches that already took place on Pilot, and you can see you had Nami, you had Aqua Libre, and you had Wink down here. This tells you how much of the total supply they offered through Pilot. And then if we go over here, you could see how many bids there were. You could see what the max discount was, my bids. I did participate in the Aqua Libre one, but not with this current wallet that I have connected. And you could see some people got the tokens at about 90 to 96% off the price set by the issuers. Now, the idea here is clearly for the issuers to make this competitive so that people are putting bids higher than this, so that these bids don't even get to fill, right? It almost happens like a liquidation on Orca. So it's a little bit gamified, but what I like about this is the community of buyers actually sets the price. You're not forced to interact with a liquidity pool where the price is determined, God knows how by who knows, right? So this is a very fair, transparent way to do it. Really like Pilot. All right, finally, we're going to look at bonds, and this is the third way teams can raise money. It says right here, bonds are an OTC deal type with one maker and many takers, designed for protocols, DAOs, and projects to use their treasuries to fundraise. So basically, what you can do with this app, if you have a project, is you could offer tokens from your treasury at a discount, and the buyer, there's a compromise or a trade-off here. So yes, the buyer gets the tokens at a discount, but they don't get the tokens right away. They receive the tokens at a future date, where the sellers get the funds up front. Remember, this is for fundraising, right? Now, why would anyone do this if they're not going to get the tokens right away? Well, you're giving a team that you presumably believe in delivering a product, you're giving them funding in order to build out what they promised they're going to build out, right? And the theory here is that the team's going to raise these funds to improve the protocol or to improve the platform. So even though you're getting your tokens later, you're getting them at a discount, and hopefully those tokens are even more valuable because the team will have delivered something that they didn't have prior. And again, this is for later stage fundraising, when the community has some trust in the teams, and there's already a relationship there. Teams maybe have already delivered on 2 or 3 different parts of their roadmap, and they need some funding for the last one or last two. I think that this is a really great, transparent way to do this, and also a very smart way to actually use a treasury. I will finish up by talking specifically about the token for those that are interested. Anyone who watches my channel or interacts with me on Twitter knows that DeFi tokens, DAO tokens, and project tokens are the bane of my existence. But I did buy this token last week, and I do own some of the other tokens on Kujira, so I'm a little bit biased. I really want Kujira to do well, and I do like what Fuzion has done with its token, and also the set of applications that they built. You can't find all of those anywhere else, anywhere in Cosmos, on the other 75, 80, 85 chains. So what can you do with the token? I already mentioned that you could vote and you could stake. Let's see what that looks like here. But basically, you would take your Fuzion tokens, you would stake them. They get subject to a 7-day unbonding period. This allows you to vote in governance. Great. But what else? Well, you stake your Fuzion tokens, you get these Y Fuzion tokens in return, kind of like a staking derivative. And then you can go ahead and stake those to earn rewards and revenue. So it's two steps. I've seen this before, and I've seen this even more complex in other ecosystems like Phantom. I'm involved in something like this where you got to do these multiple staking and bondings. Here it's two steps. So it's like some friction, but minimal. And when you stake this Y Fusion token, you get revenue from the protocol. This is a way for holders of the token to really take a stake in um, the set of apps here. Yes, there's a 14-day unbonding period, but presumably, if you're going to do this, you're kind of in for the long haul anyway. Plus, you could still vote on the proposals and have a voice in, the direction that this platform goes. By the way, no, I am not in the KujiCast studio, so don't ask me that in the comments. But as far as DeFi tokens go, DAO tokens go, I generally don't like them. I do gamble with them all the time. And it seems like there's a lot of luck involved, knowing when to buy, knowing when to sell. And that's if the protocols are actually good, right? Here you've got a token with what I would call um, mediocre utility and probably a pretty high upside just in terms of speculative value. I think that the Fusion team needs to do a much better job of letting the non Kujira public know exactly what they've built. Hey, look, we've got all these different protocols. It's not just Pilot. We've got Dustbuster. We've got Plasma. We've got this streaming payment app, which is awesome. I think they need to lean into it. I think they owe it to anyone who's going to take a flyer on this token. And it will incentivize the holders to even do their grassroots kind of spreading the word as well. I understand that some teams are small. Marketing's the last thing on their mind, but it's not really marketing. You're just taking credit for what you've built. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You might get the attention of other builders who want to collab. You never know. You might get some momentum behind your token and make everybody happy, especially when the market cap is so low, under 5 million. Christ, it's got a lot of upside, especially being built on Kujira. But as far as the revenue generating, it doesn't seem like that's price specific necessarily with the token. It's more about the individual products, their revenue that they generate. And all the revenue, with a couple of exceptions, are going to go back towards those Y Fusion stakers that I pointed out before. Now, on Plasma, they only get 75% because 25% goes to Kuji stakers. And on Pilot, 50% to Y Fusion, 50% to Kuji. Um, I get that. With Pilot, the goal is not only to raise funds, the goal is also to seed liquidity on Bo, which is Kujira's AMM. Kujira stakers, it's cool that they get a piece of that as well. So Kujira, yes, super bullish on Kujira. I really like what they've built. It's amazing that they've quietly become the DeFi platform of Cosmos, despite never having to bow down, kiss the rings of the cartel. It's just all been done with this like blood, sweat, and tears. These founders, not only Fusion but Kujira team and others as well, just really working as hard as they can, staying in touch with the community. Community in turn is always happy. They're spreading the word. I think that Kujira in general should be more of a household name than it is, and it will be applications like what Fusion has built that eventually gets them to that point.